The goal of all yoga practice is a state of inner peace, and Ashtanga Yoga uses a method of physical postures and daily practice to help you experience that same state of inner peace in your body, mind, and soul. Ashtanga Yoga is a dynamic form of physical Hatha Yoga devised by my teacher, Sri Pattabhi Joyce, and his grandson, Sharat Rangaswamy.
Vande Gurunam Charanaravinde Sandarshita Swapna Sukhava Bodhe Nishreyase Drangali Kayamane Samsara Hala Halamoha Shantye Abahupurushakaram Shankachakrasi Darinam Sahasra Shirasam Shwetam Pranamami Patanjalim
Now we begin the intermediate series, or Nadi Shodhana, the second series of Ashtanga Yoga. Before you begin, relax your body and deepen your breath, softening your gaze, taking a moment to dedicate your practice, offering your body and your soul and your mind to the highest source possible. And we begin with the first breath. Ekam, raise your hands. Dve, exhale, fold forward, dropping down. Trini, inhale, look up. Chatwari, step back, relaxing the body as you lower yourself down. Pancha, inhale, move into upward facing dog. Shat, exhale, rolling back into downward facing dog. Even though the practice of the intermediate series is a more advanced practice, allow your body the time and space to open, not over-anticipating any of the movements. So stepping back in your first Surya Namaskar will give your body the chance to open. Let your breath move into your joints, elongating your spine, hollowing out your pelvis, preparing your body for the depth and power of this practice. Switching your gaze forward, Saupta, inhale, step forward, keeping the weight firmly in your hands as you inhale. Ashtau, exhale, fold forward. Nava, press into your legs to stand up. Let your arms raise up over the top of your head. Exhale, come back to Samastitihi. Ekam, we begin again. Raise your arms. Dve, exhale, still waking up your body, softly moving. Trini, inhale, extending your spine. Chatwari, step back one more time to give the body a chance to open. Pancha, inhale, move into upward facing dog. And Chat, exhale, roll into downward facing. Lift your kneecaps, opening the backs of the knees. Press your legs firmly into the ground. Your legs are your source of connection to the ground underneath you, and it is by thrusting deeply into the earth that you will feel the energy traveling up your thighs, deep into your pelvis. And it is your connection to your legs that allows you to begin hollowing out your pelvis, connecting deep into the lift of the lower stomach and the lift of your pelvic floor. Saupta, inhale, stepping forward, look up. Ashtau, exhale, fold forward. Nava, inhale, keeping the stomach drawn in, let your arms raise. And exhale, Samastitihi. We begin to take it up a notch. Ekam, inhale, raise your hands, reaching high. Dve, exhale, draw in your stomach to fold forward. Trini, inhale, look forward. Chatwari, jump back by transferring the weight into your hands, lowering down. Pancha, inhale, lifting your sternum. And Shat, exhale, rolling into downward facing dog. If you need to readjust your hands or your feet, allow yourself to do so. Keep your shoulder blades rolled down the back, positioning yourself for the correct or healthy alignment that will allow you to perform the very challenging asanas in this series. Allow your breath to move up and down your spine, moving in and out of the rib cage, keeping your stomach hollow and as drawn in as possible. Let your neck be free and elongated. Switch your gaze. Saupta, inhale, jump forward, transferring the weight into your hands, landing softly, look up. Ashtau, exhale, releasing your spine down. Nava, inhale, stand up, reach your palms, pressing the hands, exhale, Samastitihi. Ekam, let the breath move your body, raising the hands. Dve, exhale, lifting your sit bones to fold forward. Trini, inhale, extending your spine, lengthening. Chatwari, transfer the weight into your hands and jump back. Pancha, inhale, roll into upward facing, roll the shoulders down the back. Shat, exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Every upward facing dog, even though we're not in it now, holds your potential for all back bending. So your alignment and your sense of awareness in all of the postures in the Surya Namaskar, upward facing dog, Chaturanga Dandasana, and downward facing dog set up the basis for your alignment in later postures. So remember to be conscious from your first breath. Bend your knees. Sapta, inhale, transfer your weight into your hands. Look up. Ashtau, exhale, fold forward. Nava, inhale, keep your legs engaged as you let the energy travel out through the fingertips. Exhale, Samastitihi. Last one. Ekam, raise your hands, reach high. Dve, exhale, elongating your spine to fold forward. Trini, inhale, extending your energy forward. Chatwari, keep your arms strong, transferring your pelvis over your hands to jump back. Pancha, inhale, tucking your tailbone and engaging your legs. Shat, exhale, roll into downward facing dog. Good. As you learn to jump with strength and agility in Surya Namaskar, you will also build the foundation for all vinyasas and all strength postures in your practice. Although the way that I'm demonstrating is a very advanced version, it's meant to be an inspiration and a sense of direction towards your development in your practice. Practice strength diligently and it will come. It took me years of practice to feel strong in my body. Sapta, inhale, let the strength travel into your arms. Look up. Ashtau, exhale, dropping down. Nava, inhale, reach your arms up over the top of the head, and exhale, Samastitihi. We begin Surya Namaskar B. Bending your knees, bend deeply at the hip joints and raise your hands. Ashtau, exhale, chest to your knees, draw in your stomach to fold forward. Trini, inhale, looking forward, place your hands down, and if you can, send your pelvis forward, lifting up to jump back into Chatwari, exhaling. Pancha, inhale, lifting your sternum. Shat, exhale, rolling into downward facing. Sapta, inhale, step forward into Virabhadrasana, raise your hands. Ashtau, exhale, step back and down, keep your chest open as you lower down. Nava, inhale, move into upward facing. Dasha, exhale, down. Ekadasha, left side, strong legs are your foundation. As you raise your arms, Dvadasha, exhale, step back and down, keep your chest open. Trayogdasha, inhale, upward facing, deep full breath. Chaturdasha, exhale, downward facing. Good. Come back to your body and back to your breath. You'll notice that Surya Namaskar B increases your cardiovascular system, so it's important to try to let the length of the inhalation equal the length of the exhalation. As you control your breath, so too will you control your mind. Elongating your spine, transfer your weight forward. Panchadasha, inhale, jump forward, look up. Shodasha, fold forward. Bend your knees deeply, press into your heels, raise your hands, and come back to Samastitihi. Good. Bend your knees again. Ekam, inhale, raise your hands. Dve, exhale, folding forward. Trini, inhale, extending your spine, transfer the weight into your hands. Inhaling, send your pelvis forward over the strength of the foundation of your arms, lifting up to jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and Shat, exhale, down. Sapta, right side, align your pelvis over your knee and lift your spine up out of your pelvis. Ashtau, exhale, keep your chest open as you lower down. Nava, inhale, deep full breath. Dasha, exhale, down. Ekadasha, inhale, left side, press firmly into your legs, lift your spine. Dvadasha, exhale, step back and down. Keep your legs strong as you lower down. Inhale, move into upward facing, pressing into your hands. Exhale, Chakturdasha, downward facing. Good. It's important not to grip the floor too tightly with your toes or with your hands, but instead let the weight of your body travel gently through the soles of your feet and the palms of your hands, releasing into the ground, while at the same time engaging the arches of your foot and slightly the fingertips of your hands. Bending your knees, Panchadasha, inhale, send the pelvis over the hands, catching the balance to lower down, looking up. Shodasha, fold forward. Deep bend in your knees, Saptadasha, inhale, raise your hands, keep the shoulders down the back and your neck free. Exhale, come back to Samastitihi. Last one. Ekam, deep breath, raise your hands. Dve, exhale, straighten your legs, keep your pelvis strong. Trini, inhale, begin sending your weight forward with your intention, sending your pelvis forward with the strength of the hollowness of your lower stomach. Let your legs gently move back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, step forward with the right leg, press firmly into the ground, tucking your tailbone as you lift forward. Exhale, step back and down. Nava, inhale, move into upward facing. Dasha, exhale, down. Ekadasha, inhale, left side, press firmly into your legs to support the lift of your spine. Dvadasha, exhale, keep your spine long as you lower down. Trayogdasha, inhale. Chakturdasha, exhale. Every time you move into Virabhadrasana in Surya Namaskar B, you set up the foundation for opening your psoas, opening your hip flexors, and opening your pelvis for the deep back bending that comes very quickly in the second series. So it's important to set up your alignment and your awareness even here at the beginning of your practice. By tucking your tailbone, lifting your spine out of your pelvis when you're in the Virabhadrasana or the warrior postures, even though we move quickly in and out of them. Resting in downward facing dog until we bend our knees. Panchadasha, inhale, jumping forward, controlling the movement with ease. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees deeply. Saptadasha, inhale, press your palms together. And exhale, come back to Samastitihi. Good. Stepping the feet hips width apart. Fold forward, holding onto your big toes. Ekam, inhale, and Dve, exhale, into Parangustasana. Every forward bend begins to develop the awareness deep inside of your pelvis of the bandhas, Uddiyana Bandha and Mula Bandha, that strength from hollowing out your pelvis. So be sure to transfer your pelvis or your sacrum forward over your feet so that your weight doesn't hang in your heels. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and elongate your back muscles so that you're evenly stretched both along your hamstrings, released inside of your pelvis and on your back. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, step your feet under your hands, Padahastasana. Ekam, inhale. Dve, exhale, folding forward. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back and see if you can transfer your weight even further forward onto your toes by directing your pelvis forward into space. You begin to be comfortable with moving in that direction, for it is forward that allows your body to lift up either into handstand or into any posture that you like. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, take your hands to your waist. Press your feet firmly into the ground. Inhale, come all the way back up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Ekam, step your feet out to the right to move into Uttita Trikonasana, spreading your arms. Dve, exhale, move inside your right hip joint, releasing your pelvis and keeping it hollowed out, extending equally through both the right and the left shoulders, gazing at your left fingertips. Keep your legs active and pressing into the ground and your lower stomach drawn in. Avoid the temptation to backbend your way into the posture, and instead keep the tailbone gently tucked under while you reach out through the top of your head and let your legs be a firm, solid foundation. Inhale, coming up. Chatwari, exhale, move into the left side, keeping conscious of your sense of alignment. Gently pull up with the left fingertips to allow the shoulder girdle to stretch and extend in both directions. Let your hip joints be released and your shoulder joints be spacious, and the energy travel out through the top of your head, tucking your tailbone, hollowing out your pelvis as much as you can. Keep your legs firmly into the ground. Inhale, coming up, Pavrita Trikonasana. Dve, exhale, folding forward. Press your left hand firmly into the ground, stabilizing your hips. As much as possible, try to keep the pelvis stable while extending out through your spine, twisting mostly in the vertebrae of your thoracic spine and the shoulders rolled down your back. As you keep the shoulders rolled down your back and extend through your arms, that will support your sternum and your upper back bending. Trini, inhale, come up. Chatwari, exhale, drawing in your stomach to fold forward. Remember to keep your hips square, for that sets up your alignment to keep your body in a healthy form for later twisting postures where it's more important. The right hand pressing firmly into the ground allows you to stabilize your shoulder girdle and support your spine up at the top. Extend your energy out through the top of the head, even as you raise the arms. Inhale, coming up, and exhale back to Samastitihi. Inhale, step your right foot out to a slightly wider stance, extending your arms. Dve, exhale, Uttita Parsvakonasana, reaching out through the top of your left fingertips. Keep your shoulder blades rolled down the back, and again here, avoid the temptation to reach backward or forward, and try to align your body in one long, clean line from the left heel through the left knees, through the pelvis, through the rib cage, and out through the fingertips. Feel the energy traveling through your body. Inhale, coming up, use the strength of your legs to come up, and Chatwari, exhale, switching the sides. Again, keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back, extending your spine, reaching out with your energy and intention through your fingertips. And feel the energy traveling in a long, clean line all the way across the right side through all of your joints. Keep your legs active and pressing firmly into the ground. Inhale, coming all the way up, we move into Pavrita Parsvakonasana, or the twisted version of the posture. Exhale deeply as you move into this twist, making sure to hook your left shoulder as far around your thigh as possible. The depth of this twist will prepare you for Pashasana, the first posture of the intermediate series. So if you find your shoulder slipping off your thigh here, you won't find it so easy to move deeply or proficiently into Pashasana. Inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale, switching the sides. If you have a hard time with Pashasana, make sure you spend a long time aligning your pelvis and sending your bent knee forward to prepare your body for the deep twist that initiates the second series. Extending your energy out through your fingertips, make sure your legs are strong and supported and that the bent knee stays pressed forward to help lock your arm in the posture. Inhale, coming all the way up, spread your arms. And exhale, come back to Samastitihi. We move into Prasarita Padottanasana. Ekam, inhale, step out to the right, hands on your waist. Inhale again, look up. Dve, exhale, fold forward. Take your hands to the floor. Good. Inhale, looking up. And Trini, exhale, folding forward. If you are very flexible, you might find it useful to move your hands further through your thighs. When you begin practicing the intermediate series, it's advised to do so, since you will further elongate your spine and your torso through your thighs, releasing your hip joints and moving to a deeper space inside of your pelvis. This prepares you for Pitibhasana, which comes about halfway through the intermediate series. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale, coming all the way up, and exhale. Inhale again, ekam, spread the arms, we move into B. Exhale, hands to your waist. Inhale again, look up, extending the spine. Trini, exhale, folding forward. Even here, move your head as far through your feet as you possibly can, using the strength of your pelvis to send your weight forward over your toes, aligning your body with as much depth and sense of awareness as you can. If you're a tall person with a very different proportion than mine, you might find it useful to take a wider stance so your head can actually reach the ground. Inhale, come all the way up, and exhale. Inhale again, spread your arms. Exhale, interlock your fingers behind your back, flipping your hands out as this is the more advanced version of the posture. Exhale, folding forward. Press out through your wrists, locking your fingers as best you can. Try not to push more with the right or left side, but instead equally and out through your wrists, locking your pinky fingers as you reach the hands down to the ground. This will release your wrists, preparing you for Mayurasana later in the practice. Remember, if you need to take your feet wider to help release your shoulders, that's no problem. Always be willing to listen to your body and make whatever adjustments necessary. Inhale, coming all the way up. Keep your hands until you come back to standing, and then hands on the waist. Inhale, looking up, and exhale, fold forward, reach forward, grab hold of your big toes. Inhale again, look up, extend your spine. Trini, exhale, moving forward. Reach the top of the head down to the ground. And as you're here, every forward bend contains the basics of building strength, so transfer your weight forward and feel the energy travel into the top of your head. For those of you wishing for a more advanced version or the full completion of that strength development, take your hands to the ground, send your pelvis forward, continue that direction, and let your legs gently float up. Remember that up doesn't happen when you try for it, but happens when you send your pelvis forward over the strong foundation of your arms. Taking your hands in prayer position when you're ready, we move into Parsvatanasana. Keep your legs strong. Inhale, ekam, stepping out to the right, and remember to align your pelvis forward. Before dve, exhale, you fold forward. Every forward bend, try to draw inside your stomach deeply, hollowing out your pelvis, creating space inside of your hip joints, releasing the right side of your pelvis, especially as you fold forward. But be careful to keep weight pressing equally through both the right and the left feet. Try to keep your toes relaxed, yet pressing through the balls of your feet and the base of your big toe. Inhale, coming all the way up, and switching the sides while still exhaling. Good. Chatwari, exhale, folding forward. Try to press the heel of your hands firmly into each other, lifting your elbows and reaching forward with your sternum. Elongating the spine, now along the left leg. Reach your energy out through the top of your head as you have weight distributed evenly through the right and the left sides of your body, keeping your pelvis as square as possible. Inhale, coming up, release your hands, and exhale, come back to Samastitihi. Now we begin the intermediate series. It's important to remain relaxed even while you attempt these challenging postures, keeping your mind within your body. Ekam, inhale, raise your hands. Dve, exhale, fold forward. Trini, inhale, extending your spine, look up. Chatwari, jump back, transferring your pelvis over your hands. Pancha, inhale, roll into upward facing. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, we move into Pashasana position. Jump your feet forward, bending your knees. Keep the feet together, the soles of the feet touching, the heels touching, base of the big toes. We twist to the left first in Pashasana, working on the right shoulder. Do your best to keep your heels firmly planted into the ground. If you grab a hold of your fingers, try to walk your other fingers, your right fingers, all the way up to your left wrist. Roll the left shoulder blade down the back and try to extend out through the top of your head, holding firmly on your left wrist or your left fingers. If possible, straighten your left arm. That will help stretch your shoulder girdle. Exhale, switching the sides. Ashtau, move on to the right side, reaching your left arm firmly around your right knee. Press forward as deeply as you can, as we went over in Pavrita Parsva Konasana, using that deep bend inside of your groin and inside of your hip joints to keep your torso as close to your thigh as possible, releasing your back muscles to take you deep into a squat. Press firmly into your feet, using the front of your shins to hold you into the posture. Nava, inhale, lift up, and Ekadasha, inhale, move into upward facing. Dvadasha, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, move into Crown Chasana, bend your knees, jump forward, taking the position by bending your right knee back and immediately straightening your left leg, holding around your wrist, looking up. Ashtau, exhale, folding forward, move the chin towards the shin. Try not to bend forward to get your chin closer to your shin. Instead, release your left leg, then you're all the way through the calf muscle down into your pelvis to bring your leg closer. Keep your back straight and press your sit bones into the ground, hollowing out your pelvis, gently rotating both thighs inward. Inhale, look up. Exhale there. Take your hands to the ground. Inhale, lift up to jump back, lowering down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Trayogdisha, exhale, downward facing. Chakturdisha, inhale, jumping through, switching the sides. As you transfer the weight forward, see if you can come into the posture during the vinyasa, during the jump through, bending the left knee back. Gently rotating your thighs inward, looking up. Exhale as you bring your right leg forward, using a deep release inside of your pelvis and inside of your right hip joint to allow your leg to gently move up. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back and try not to fight for the posture too much with your arms, but instead use the strength of your pelvis and the strength of your leg to lift out through your pointed toes and let the leg be strong in and of itself. Inhale, looking up. Exhale there. Take your hands to the floor. Inhale, transferring the weight forward as you jump back, lowering yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Take a moment to collect your breath if you need to. As you inhale, coming forward, lower yourself down, holding Chaturanga Dandasana for a moment. Inhale, Pancha Shalabhasana. Reach forward with your sternum as you roll the shoulder blades down the back, tucking your tailbone, lifting out through the top of the head, gazing at the tip of your nose. Try not to bend your knees, but instead reach out through the soles of your feet with straight legs. Shalabhasana B, switch your hand position. Don't press too hard with the hands, but instead begin strengthening your back as you're in the posture. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Exhale as you reach forward, again coming into Chaturanga Dandasana. Remember to hold your chest off the ground for a moment before you lower down. Pancha, take Bekhasana position by reaching around for the tops of your feet, and as much as possible release your quadriceps and press your toes, if possible your whole foot, firmly into the ground. Roll your shoulder blades down your back and lift out through your sternum. Take your hands down to the ground. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. The back bends of second series require a lot of strength in your back muscles. Work on them diligently and calmly. Come into Chaturanga Dandasana, holding for a moment before we move into Dhanurasana. Pancha, inhale, move into Dhanurasana, bow posture, holding onto your ankles. Equally pull forward with your shoulders and backwards with your feet. This counter thrust of forward with the arms and backward with your feet will allow you to take your spine deeper and produce the upward lift that's the full extension of the posture. If you find yourself rolling back and forth, just be with the movements. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, Inhale, downward facing. Coming forward into Chaturanga Dandasana, exhaling as you lower yourself down. Keep your body off of the ground. Good. Pancha, inhale, take Dhanurasana position. We move into Parsva Dhanurasana or side bow posture. Exhale, fall or slowly transfer your weight onto the right side. Keep your knees and the heels together as close as possible, reaching your chest down towards the ground, keeping the neck in line with the spine. Releasing your shoulders, keep your tailbone tucked under and keep space and elongation between all of your vertebrae. Move from your pelvis, come back into Dhanurasana, and exhale, move on to the left side. Realign your body by tucking your tailbone, keeping the knees together, breathing into your rib cage. Breathe space through your whole spine. Reach out through the top of your head, back towards your toes. Keep working for elongation and length in the posture. Inhale, come back into Dhanurasana and lift again. Really use the strength of your legs to lift you higher in the posture. And pull forward with your arms, using your head as a balance point. Exhale, hands to the ground. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. You should notice that upward facing dog is getting increasingly more flexible as we move deeper into the back bends. We move into Ustrasana, camel pose. Inhale, jump forward. Take the knees to the ground, coming onto your shins. Land as softly. Exhale there. Inhale, hands to your waist. And Ashtau, exhale into Ustrasana. Take a moment to really tuck your tailbone. Send your pelvis forward. Lift your rib cage up out of your pelvis so you begin to get the length of your spine. Press firmly into your knees. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back. Avoid the temptation to collapse into your neck and instead elongate out through the top of your head. Your legs are firm. The pelvis is moved as far forward as you can while maintaining the integrity of the back bend and the extension in your spine. Inhale, come forward, take the hands to your waist. Exhale, hands to the floor. Inhale, Dasha, lift up. Ekadasha, jump back. Dvadasha, inhale, move into upward facing. Triyogdasha, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, jump forward again. Come onto your shins, landing softly for Laghu Vajrasana. Exhale there. Inhale, bring your hands to your waist. Ashtau, hold on to your ankles as best you can with straight arms. Exhale, lower yourself down. Do not try to stretch in Laghu Vajrasana. This posture is meant to build the strength of the forward thrust of your pelvis that will protect your lower spine in increasingly deeper back bends. Try to feel the strength of your body, keeping the weight forward into your knees. Press firmly into your hands to send your weight forward, sending your tailbone and your pelvis forward to come up. Inhale. Exhale, take your hands to the floor. Inhale, Dasha, lifting up. Ekadasha, jump back, lowering yourself down. Inhale into upward facing and exhale, down. The next posture, Kapotasana, is a very challenging posture for some people and will require a high level of openness in your back, your shoulders, your spine, your hip joints, and your whole body. It's considered a gateway posture. Inhale, take your hands to your waist and move your hands into prayer position. Slowly exhaling, taking as many breaths as you need to, tucking your tailbone, lift your spine up out of the pelvis, roll the shoulder blades down the back. It's important to hang forward and keep the pelvis forward as you release the shoulders and the hands up over the top of your head. Let gravity release your shoulders, keeping the palms pressed together to keep the shoulders in alignment. As you gently reach down, walking towards your heels. If possible, if you want the challenge, you might find it useful to go as far up your calf muscles as possible. If you're just working on getting into the posture, you might find it useful to move forward into the how to work segment. It's important to keep your body in as healthy alignment as possible, tucking your tailbone, listening to every movement, lifting and creating space between each vertebrae, never harming your body for the external form of the asana, but instead using the posture to listen and feel the depth of movement. Take your hands to the floor, roll your shoulder blades down the back, press your arms as straight as you can, keep the heel of the hand grounded, the shoulder blades rolled down the back, and your pelvis moving forward. Inhale, coming all the way up, hands in prayer, and down to the waist. Slowly exhale, rolling the spine down as you do. Take your hands to the floor. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, jump back, lower yourself down. Dvadasha, inhale, upward facing. Trayogdasha, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, jumping through. If you can with straight legs, it will help release your back. We take Supta Vajrasana position, sleeping thunderbolt pose, which begins with a full lotus as deep as you can, reaching the hands behind your back, holding your feet, crossing the elbows if possible. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back. Enlist the help of a good friend to ground your knees. Exhale, move your head down towards the ground for 5 breaths. Remember to initiate the movement from a back bend, so we want the spine to be elongated, the tailbone tucked, the shoulders reaching. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, down. Inhale again, come up. Exhale, down. Inhale again, coming up. And exhale, down 3 times. Inhale, coming up on the 5th one. Exhale, lower yourself down and stay down for 5 breaths. Press your hands into your feet, grounding your body by reaching forward with your toes to create small hooks for your fingers. Initiate the inhalation to come up from the back bend. Keep your arms firmly held onto your feet until you're ready to release the posture. Allow yourself time and space to attempt this posture and this movement. Move forward into the how to work section if you're having difficulty holding onto your feet. Take your hands to the ground and try. Inhale, lifting up to jump back with full lotus position. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, we move into Bakasana position or crow posture. Bending the knees as we jump forward, transfer the weight into your hands. Put your feet flat onto the ground, sink down into a nice deep squat, which will help release your back. Keeping the knees pressed firmly into the armpits, inhale, Sapta, Bakasana position. Keep the heels touching and point your toes. This will help thrust the knees further into the armpits and move the sacrum into a slightly inward rotated position. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Bakasana B position is jumping on an inhalation into the posture. Switch your gaze forward and transfer your weight forward into the solid foundation of your arms. Inhale, jumping forward, landing without crashing onto your arms, moving your pelvis forward over your hands. This took me so long to actually learn to get. Move forward into the how to work section for tips on how to move deeply into Bakasana B. Exhale, move into downward facing. Taking a moment always to catch your breath if you need to. We move into Bharata Vajrasana. Inhale, Sapta, jumping through, taking the position, moving the left leg into an inward rotated position and the right leg in an outward rotated position, reaching around the back for your foot. Press firmly into your right hand as you lift and extend out through the top of the head. Try to press your sit bones into the ground to stabilize your pelvis. Resist the urge to lift one sit bone off the ground to seemingly deepen the twist. Instead, let the extension of your spine come from your spine. Inhaling, lift up. Nava, Dasha, exhale, jump back. Ekadasha, inhale, move into upward facing. Dvadasha, exhale, downward facing. Trayogdasha, inhale, jumping through. We switch the sides. Keeping the integrity of the vinyasas will help not only build your strength, but also help you release your spine after the deep backbending work. Remember to enter the posture on an exhalation, as this is a twist. Roll your shoulder blades down your back, and as in a similar fashion as Supta Vajrasana, press your right hand into the foot that's in half lotus. This will help stabilize your pelvis and give you an upward thrust to elongate your spine, twisting from deep inside your vertebrae. Inhale, lifting up, and exhale, jumping back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Keeping the integrity of the vinyasas will again build your strength throughout the intermediate series. Saupta, inhale, jumping through, controlling the movement as much as possible. Moving into Ardha Matsyendrasana. Ashtau, exhale into the posture. You'll notice that both thighs move into a slightly inward rotation. This is the same release inside of your pelvis that we work on in Pashasana. In some ways, this is a deeper twist, although it's a bit easier since you don't have to maintain the balance. Point your left toes backward as you move into the twist, reaching out through the top of your head and again grounding your sit bones. Inhale, Nava, lifting up. Dasha, exhale, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Bending your knees, jumping through, we switch the sides. Keep the integrity of the vinyasa. Keep your strength solid throughout the practice. Moving the left leg over the right knee, we want to keep weight forward into your left foot as you reach around the back. If you find that you need an extra few moments to really ground and reach the inner thigh of the right leg, give yourself that space. And when you find it, press firmly into your right hand, elongating your spine, rolling the shoulder blades down the back, trying to push your weight into your sit bones and rolling your weight forward into your left foot. Take the hands down to the ground. Cross your feet to jump back. If you cross your feet through all of the vinyasas in the second series, not only will you maintain the strength, but you will begin to develop an awareness deep inside of your pelvis that will keep you strong throughout the practice. Saupta, inhale, jump the right foot around the right hand, controlling the movement on the way down. We move into Ekapada Shirsasana. Ashtau, exhale, take the right foot behind your back. It's important to rotate the trochanter, the head of the thigh bone, back and down. Notice that the knee points out to the side, trying to keep as close a distance between your thigh and your torso as possible. Looking up for 5 breaths here will allow your spine to release and allow you to thrust back into your shin, which is the strength that keeps your leg behind your head. Exhale, Ashtau, move into the full posture as you fold forward. Resist the urge to release your pelvis or release your lower stomach, but instead keep supporting your whole spine from underneath. As the energy moves up your spine, thrust firmly into your leg, and that will allow the energy to travel out through the top of your head. Even if you can't reach your chin towards your shin, keep thrusting back into your leg. Inhale, coming up, look up. Exhale, take your hands to the ground. Inhale, lifting up, reach your chin forward to your shin by rolling your pelvis forward. Exhale, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. Chaturdisha, inhale, jumping through to the left side, so the left leg moves around the left arm. This is a vinyasa that takes strength and coordination and many years of diligent practice with devotion and dedication. Move the knee out to the side, rotating the trochanter back and down. So we use the outward rotation of the hip joint to safely move your leg behind your head. Moving the hands in prayer, thrusting back with your shoulders into your calf muscle, into your ankle, and into your shin. Keep the left toes pointed and reaching out across your shoulder girdle to help move you into the posture. The right leg is engaged and the lower stomach is drawn in as you exhale, folding forward. Allow the strength of your body to support your leg from underneath, the power centers of your body deep inside of your pelvis, hollowed out and drawn in. Use the bandhas to lift your spine long out over your right thigh, gently engaging while finding a sense of release and relaxation in the posture. Inhale, coming up, press your hands together, look up. Exhale, hands down. Inhale, lift up, reach the chin forward to the shin. And exhale, transfer the weight forward, releasing your feet. Jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. We move into Dvipada Shirsasana, both legs behind the head. Saupta, inhale, Dvipada Shirsasana. Jump your legs around your arms, controlling the movement and landing firmly on your upper arms, bending your knees to lower down. Use the outward rotation, starting with your left leg, to gently take your leg behind your head. Once you get the leg as far down the back as possible, drop your head back and then do not change your hand position as you release your right hip joint, moving yourself deeply into the posture. You might find it useful to lock your feet or until they can firmly open. Once the toes can point, then press your heels as far down your back as you can, reaching out with both toes, bending your knees firmly, reaching back with your head. Keep thrusting back into your shins with your upper back. It's the strength of the upper back that allows the deep outer rotation of your hip joints. Notice the knees point out to the side. Inhale, lifting up while looking up. Let your tailbone descend to the ground. At the same time, use the strength of the arms and the upward thrust of your upper back to keep you in the posture. While it's difficult to remain here, try as best you can to look up while staying in Dvipada Shirsasana. Inhale, release your feet. Take back your legs to Bakasana position and then jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. We move into Yoga Nidrasana. Saupta, inhale, jumping through and lie down. It's important to take this moment of rest before we continue to allow the body to relax. Ashtau, we start with the left leg, using the outer rotation of the hip joint again to move the leg behind the head. This time it's easier because the floor supports you from underneath. So bring your head back and see if you can press it into the ground. As you move the right leg to meet and cross over the left, you might find it useful to thrust your toes into the ground and walk them away from each other to further deepen your sense of the posture. Reaching your shoulders around your thighs. Once you clasp your hands, press your knees into the ground, press your toes into the ground, look up firmly, and also reach your sacrum down towards the ground. While it's not possible to be fully flat in the posture, do your best to flatten your body and elongate your spine, thrusting your shoulders into your calf muscles and elongating your spine here. Find a sense of comfortability and ease with the outer rotation of your hip joints. Releasing the posture, as you exhale, take your hands underneath your shoulders, rolling back, and then exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. We move into Titibhasana, or firefly posture. Saupta, inhale, transferring the weight over your hands. Allow your thighs to make contact with your upper arms, catching the balance. Move directly into Titibhasana, A. Press firmly into your arms and see if you can reach forward with your toes, and that will help stabilize you in the posture. Take your feet to the ground, roll your shoulders as far underneath your thighs as you possibly can to help reach further around your back. If you can grab your wrist, you grab the wrist, otherwise hold onto your fingers. Pull firmly with your arms and round your back. You might find it useful to push your hands a little bit into your back as you thrust firmly with your legs deeply into the ground. Moving into Titibhasana C, inhale, step forward, exhale. So each step with each side of the body is an inhalation and an exhalation. So inhale, exhale. And then after forward, move backwards. So you want to step 5 times. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale, keeping your legs strong. Your legs might start to burn as we move towards the end of the posture. The most advanced version, Titibhasana, D, is to have the feet as close to parallel position as possible, with the fingers interlocked and the legs moving towards straight, the shoulders and the torso as far through your thighs as possible. You can see how a deep Prasarita Padottanasana will help you here in the posture. Come back up into Titibhasana, holding again for a few breaths to stabilize in the posture, moving into Bakasana position, and jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, downward facing. We move into Pincha Mayurasana. Sapta, we prepare for the posture by moving the forearms down to the ground, if possible directly from downward facing dog. Build a solid foundation with your shoulders, and if possible, transfer your pelvis forward over your hands, and inhale, Ashtau, take the position. If you, like me, find balancing on your hands very challenging, look forward to the How to Work section for many tips. If it's easy for you, try to come into as straight a posture as possible, tucking your tailbone as you reach forward, jumping back, lower yourself down. Inhale, upward facing, and exhale, down. Take a moment to collect yourself before we move into Karandavasana. One of the hardest postures of all of the Ashtanga Yoga series. Come onto your forearms, taking the position again, stabilizing your mind, for you need not only strength of the body, but strength of the mind to complete this asana. Inhale, coming back into Pincha Mayurasana. Take lotus position. Slowly, controlling the movement, resist the urge to try to move quickly. You will not do quickly what you cannot do with control. Rolling your pelvis, tucking the feet into the pelvis, rolling the knees as close to the armpits as possible. Go down, stay down for 5 breaths. Keep the legs engaged, transfer your weight forward, moving the head towards the ground as you move back into Pincha Mayurasana. After you stabilize the balance, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. While what I do is not perfection in the asana, it has taken many years to develop even this basic level of strength and proficiency in the asana. Bending your knees, jump forward, coming up towards standing, catching the balance, look up. Exhale, folding forward. Inhale, coming back up to Samastitihi. And now we move into Mayurasana, peacock pose. One of the most challenging things of Mayurasana is the vinyasa. Ekam, step the feet apart. Inhale, look up. Dve, exhale, move the head in between the hands. Trini, inhale, look up. Chatwari, jump back. Inhale, pancha, move forward. Move the elbows as close to your solar plexus as you can to come into the posture. Reach back with your toes and forward with your sternum, reaching out through the top of your head. Moving back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Sapta, exhale, downward facing. Ashtau, inhale, keep the hands in Mayurasana position as you jump forward, look up. Exhale, move the head between the arms. Inhale, coming all the way back up to standing. Bring your feet together, Samastitihi. Nakrasana position, crocodile, jumping posture. Ekam, inhale, raise your hands, reach them up over the top of the head. Dve, exhale, fold forward. Trini, inhale, look up. Chatwari, jump back, prepare your body. Pancha, inhale, jump. Inhale, jump. Inhale, jump. Push with your arms 5 times forward, 5 times back. Pushing with the arms, lifting with the pelvis to move back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Sapta, exhale, downward facing. Ashtau, inhale, switching the weight forward over your hands. Jump forward, look up. Nava, exhale, fold forward. Coming up to Samastitihi. Now we begin Vathayanasana. Take the right leg into half lotus position. Ekam, inhale as you reach your right hand around your back. Dve, exhale, fold forward with both hands. Reach your chin towards your shin. Trini, inhale, look up. Chatwari, press with your right foot to go back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Keep the right knee off of the ground. Exhale, move into downward facing. Sapta, inhale, jump forward on to your left foot, placing the left heel as close to your right knee as possible. Keep energy thrusting down into your right knee and down into your left heel as you reach forward with your arms, hooking the leg that's in half lotus with the arm that's on top. So we want them to mirror each other, pressing forward with your hands to keep the balance. Inhale, lifting up, Ashtau, Nava, exhale, jump back. Dasha, inhale, upward facing. Ekadasha, exhale, downward facing. Change the legs. It's important in all of the vinyasas to keep the knee that's in half lotus off of the ground. After you get the left leg into position, Dvadasha, inhale, jumping forward. Keep the right heel as close to the left knee as possible. You might find it useful to press into your right knee to help gain a sense of groundedness in your feet. Push forward with your palms and look up as deeply as you can, tucking your tailbone, reaching your spine up out of the pelvis. Allow as much length as possible into your body. Hands down to the ground. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, jump back. Keep the left knee off the ground as you move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Saptadasha, inhale, jump forward, keeping the left leg in half lotus, reaching around your chin to your shin. Inhale, looking up, extend the spine. Exhale there. Inhale, coming all the way up, keeping your foot clasped until you reach back to standing in a similar fashion as Ardha Baddha Padmottanasana in the primary series. Coming back to standing, you might find it useful to pause for a moment and catch the breath before we begin the next series of seated postures in the second series. As you're ready, begin thrusting into your legs, relaxing the body, tucking your tailbone. Ekam, inhale, we begin. Dve, exhale, fold forward. Trini, inhale, looking up. Chatwari, exhale, jump back. Keep your body strong as you jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Sapta, inhale, jumping through into Parigasana position. Keep the integrity of the vinyasa as you jump through. Even if you're tired, it will help build your strength and keep up stamina, both in your body and your mind. Having the hands on the waist to start off. Exhale, bending deep inside of your pelvis, stretching your side, move into the posture, clasping both of your hands around your left foot. Push as deep as possible your right hip joint into the ground. There's a tendency to let the right hip fly off of the ground. Although it's unrealistic to be fully flat, do your best to maintain as deep a sense of groundedness as possible. Inhale, hands to your waist. Exhale, hands down. Cross your feet, jump back, lower down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Bending the knees, Chaturudisha, inhale, jumping through. We switch the sides. While many people jump into the posture, I find it useful to bend your legs to come in and out of the position to help keep the integrity of the strength. Having the hands on the waist, exhale, bending deeply at your side, reaching around the sole of your feet until the fingers are touching. Lift your elbows off of the ground, bending both to the side and gently twisting towards the back. Roll the shoulder blades down the back while pressing firmly with your right calf muscle into the ground to help keep the left hip joint as grounded as possible. Inhale, coming up, hands onto your waist. Exhale, hands on the floor. Cross your feet to build strength. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, jumping back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Vamsatihi, exhale, downward facing. Bending your knees, Sapta, inhale to Gomukhasana position. Some people may choose to directly jump into the posture, but again, jumping fully through and fully back will help keep your strength. Cross your knees, right side first, over each other, bending as deep towards your groin as possible. Keep the heels touching and the knees moving as close together as possible. Interlocking your hands, tucking your chin, gazing steadily at your nose. Keep the shoulder blades rolled down the back and the spine as straight as possible. This is a balancing posture meant to stabilize your nervous system. Reach your hands behind your back and, if possible, look up, moving the hands gently away from the back to create a deeper stretch in your shoulder. Resist the temptation just to look back with a back bend and instead stretch from your whole spine. Dasha, inhale, lifting up. Ekadasha, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, downward facing. Chaturudisha, jumping fully through. Take the weight over your hands, cross your legs, moving through. Keep your strength throughout the movement. Crossing the left leg over the right. Again, move deep inside of your groin, taking an extra moment to fully deepen your posture. Hooking your fingers underneath your left knee, gaze down at the tip of the nose, tucking your tailbone and reaching out through the top of the head. You might find it useful to push your toes into the ground to help create a sense of stability and stop your toes from shifting. Keep your spine straight and extending. Let the left arm reach on top, holding a hold of the right hand behind your back, moving the hands a little bit away from your back if possible. Let the stretch come from your whole spine rather than just a back bend. Coming out of the posture, cross your feet, drawing inside your stomach, transferring the weight forward, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Vamsatihi, exhale, downward facing. Bending the knees, Saupta, inhale, jump fully through, and exhale, lie down. Ashtau, inhale, Supta Urdhva Padavajrasana. Take the right leg into half lotus position, reaching around the back to clasp hold of your foot. Holding onto the big toe of the left side. Exhale there. Inhale, keep holding onto your left toe, changing your grip, rolling on. Try not to lose your hands. Move your left hand firmly towards the ground, planting your wrist. Keep the knees closer together and press your right hand into the foot that's in half lotus position. Try to keep both sit bones firmly planted on the ground, letting the twist be articulated throughout your spine. This is a much needed moment to catch your breath and relax in the practice. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. Chaturudisha, inhale, jumping through. We switch the sides. Lying down to begin the posture, catching a moment of rest. Inhale, bring your legs up over the top of the head, taking your left leg into half lotus position. Reach around the back for your foot and hold the right big toe with the right fingers. Exhale there. Bend your right knee back, inhaling in one long breath. Keep contact with both of your feet as you gently roll up. Take the right hand down, firmly planting it on the ground. Push back with your left shoulder and down with your left hand into your left foot that's in half lotus position. Keep your sit bones firmly planted on the ground. Let the twist be articulated from your spine. Take your hands down to the ground. Inhale, lifting up. Exhale, jump back. Lower yourself down. Inhale, upward facing. Deep, full breath. Exhale, downward facing. You might start to lose your breath towards the end of the practice. At any moment, reconnect and calm your mind by centering your breath. Mukta Hasta Shirsasana, A. Move the top of the head towards the ground. Sapta, taking the position. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up. Try to keep your spine as straight as possible, not leaning to the left, the right, forward or back, finding that dynamic point of equilibrium that is balance, both a state of physicality and a state of mind. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Ekadasha, exhale, downward facing. Saupta, inhale, taking the head down towards the ground, moving into the position. B, move the tops of the hands to the ground, firmly planting your fingertips. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up. Tucking your tailbone, reach out through your toes towards the ceiling. Use the integrity of the structure of your body to build strength and support your neck and your whole body safely in the posture. Exhale, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, move your head down towards the ground, taking the position for Mukta Hasta Shirsasana. C. The hands move out to the side, perhaps the most difficult of the unsupported headstands. Inhale, Ashtau, moving up into the posture by sending your pelvis forward, using the balance of your fingertips and having the arms move out in a solid plane from your shoulders. The alignment that you set up in downward facing dog and in all of the standing postures will help you here. Exhale, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Baddha Hasta Shirsasana, or bound headstand positions. Saupta, taking the position, the traditional headstand is A. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up. For regular practitioners, Baddha Hasta Shirsasana A feels like a respite in the challenging series of postures. Yet, maintain the integrity by tucking your tailbone, hollowing out your pelvis, pressing firmly into your elbows, switching your hands. Exhale, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, taking the position, coming onto your forearms and crossing your hands over each other. Press your hands into the arms and into the ground as your elbows are now your connection with the ground. Moving down with the top of the head, using the structural integrity of your body to reach out through your toes, keeping the legs engaged, the shoulders rolled down the back, the neck elongated and extending. Use the strength of your body to reach. Exhale, jumping back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, taking the position, the arms in Pincha Mayurasana position and the head moving towards the ground. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up. For those of you who have a hard time jumping back from Pincha Mayurasana, Baddha Hasta Shirsasana will provide immense help and stability in the posture. Keep your shoulders moving down the back. As you switch your hands, jump back, lowering yourself down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, down. The last posture of the intermediate series, Baddha Hasta Shirsasana D. Take your hands to the ground and then reach your elbows towards the ground, moving the hands up your back behind your neck. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up. Press your elbows into the ground in a deepening of the arm position of C. Keep your balance while reaching out through your toes and your top of the head pressing firmly into the ground. Switching the hands, jump back. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. Breathe a sigh of relief, for we have now completed the intermediate series, and you may catch your breath just in time for Urdhva Dhanurasana and the backbending sequence. Saupta, inhale, jumping through, lie down. A moment to catch your breath before you begin the backbending sequence will help you. Bending your knees, taking the position of the hands underneath the shoulders. Ashtau, inhale, lifting up into full Urdhva Dhanurasana. Starting out with the hands under the shoulders, you might find that you can straighten the legs, engaging your shoulders, and then walk in until the hands are closer to your feet. Staying up for 5 breaths. Using the strength of your legs to support you, tucking your tailbone and reaching the spine out of the pelvis. Move your head down to the ground after your first back bend. Walk your hands in even closer. Inhale, lifting up. Use the strength of the legs to send your pelvis forward. Roll your shoulders down your back. See if you can walk forward again. The second back bend, also held for 5 breaths. Elongating the spine, reaching forward with your pelvis. Take the head down one final time and walk your fingers even further towards your heels. See if it's possible perhaps to touch your fingers towards your heels as you move closer and closer towards your feet. Sending the pelvis forward, inhale, stand up from the third back bend. And we can begin the sequence of drop backs. Stabilizing your legs, begin to call on the alignment and principles learned in the backbending sequence earlier in the second series. Tucking your tailbone, lift the spine up out of the pelvis, extending the rib cage, keep your hands in prayer position, roll the shoulder blades down the back. It's similar to the preparation for Kapotasana, keeping the hands touched until you're ready to let them reach for the ground, letting gravity further deepen and elongate your spine. Exhale as the hands touch the ground. Inhale, coming all the way back up, rolling the spine. Tucking your tailbone, send the hips forward, dropping your head back, stretching the whole front of your body, elongating the rib cage, keeping the shoulder blades moved down the back. Exhale as you gently bend your knees towards the ground. Sending your hips forward and tucking your tailbone will allow you to come up with ease and comfort. Tucking your tailbone again, reaching back with your spine, keeping space between the vertebrae. On the third and final of the dropbacks, reach your hands down towards the ground, softening as you make contact with the ground. Tucking your tailbone, keep the legs strong. Send your hips forward, leaving your head drop back to stand all the way up. As you begin the intermediate series, it's an appropriate time to add a more advanced sequence of backbends that move forward from handstands, called tic-tacs or the Vrishikasana sequence. It includes jumping onto your hands, catching the balance, which you will do slowly with control in your mind, bringing the feet towards the head, allowing yourself as many breaths as you need to in order to control the movements. With a light touch, gently let the feet reach down towards the ground, coming back into Urdhva Dhanurasana. Walking the hands closer to the feet will assist you in going the other way. Send your chest over your hands, gently rocking forward until you inhale, coming all the way back up. This is performed 3 times in increasing levels of difficulty because your shoulders get tired. As you progress through the sequence, you will also notice that these handstands will help your shoulders get both stronger and more open. They will help your back and spine get both more flexible and more strong. Just as you stand up from the back bend by sending your pelvis over your feet, you move into the handstand by sending your chest over your hands, controlling the movement with the strength of your shoulders. As you begin to move towards greater proficiency, you can move with greater rapidity through each of the movements. As you can see, I still have much work left to do. On the third one, remember to keep your balance, calming your mind as you bring the feet down close towards your head, letting the arms maintain your balance. Moving the head up and using the openness of the sternum will help you maintain the openness in your upper back and the control of the posture. Moving the chest over the hands in a nice gentle jump, controlling the movement as you come back down. On the fourth handstand, it's appropriate to attempt Vrishikasana or full scorpion, where you hold the feet touching the head for a longer period of time. Jump or lift up and catch the balance again, applying the same principles of back bending as you would when you're standing, tucking your tailbone, engaging your legs, reach out through the soles of the feet, keeping space between the vertebrae, rolling the shoulders down the back. For Vrishikasana, you might find it useful to open your feet a little bit until you can find a sense of elongation. Let your feet travel as far down your head as possible, deepening your awareness in the posture. Once the feet reach down towards the ground, inhale, coming all the way back up, and catch your breath for assisted back bends. Crossing your hands over each other, practicing with a teacher, wait for a teacher or a good friend to help you. Exhale as you move your head back, tucking your tailbone, reaching back. Exhale again, reaching halfway back, giving your weight to your partner, Exhale, moving back again. And on the fourth one, exhale, let your hands dangle, releasing your shoulders, keeping your legs as strong as possible. Moving the elbows as close to each other as you can so that the shoulders don't wing out to the side. The strength of your legs will give you the openness you need to help deepen your sense of the posture. Once you find yourself firmly stable on your legs, it's appropriate to move the hands even further up towards the knees. This deeper back bend stretches both the shoulders and tests your sense of alignment. If the tailbone reaches under, the spine elongates and the shoulder blades move down the back, it's completely safe to perform deep back bends on a daily basis as long as the alignment and the strength of the body is there to support you. Inhale, coming all the way up, and exhale, catching your breath. Deep back bends also increase the cardiovascular system. So it's important to maintain the equanimity of your breath. Ekhem, inhale, raise your hands. Dve, exhale, fold forward, dropping down. Trini, inhale, elongating the spine. Chatwari, exhale, jump back. Pancha, inhale, upward facing. Shat, exhale, downward facing. Bending the knees. Saupta, inhale, jumping through. Paschimottanasana, a long, deep forward bend. And exhale, moving down. Elongate your spine forward, and while you relax your body in this posture, remember to elongate your spine and keep yourself engaged as deeply as possible, tucking your tailbone at the same time reaching back with your sit bones and out through the soles of your feet. Allow your spine to elongate over your thighs, your kneecaps to lift without hyperextending your knees, reaching out through the top of the head. Using the energy we've worked in the intermediate series to now turn inward, to soften our attention into the deep inner space of the body. Paschimottanasana, after long, deep back bends and a challenging intermediate series, is a time to take rest, return to the breath and the equanimity of your body. Inhale, look up. Exhale there, hands to the floor. Inhale, lifting up, cross your feet, jump back, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing, and exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, jumping through. We move into the finishing asanas, starting off with Sarvangasana. Lie down, coming again to a still point, a brief moment of relaxation before we begin this next segment of the practice. Ashtau, inhale, if possible, lift straight up into shoulder stand, rolling onto your shoulders, using the strength of your pelvis to lift forward and up, pointing out through your toes, rolling your shoulders onto the floor. Press your upper arms into the ground so that the back of your neck is free, tucking your tailbone, as in all inversions. Reach out through your toes and keep your body in as straight a line as possible. Engaging your knees, remember to gently rotate your thighs inward to keep a long, clean line of energy through your legs. Allow the base of the big toes to remain touching. If possible, gaze at the tip of the nose, for this will help direct the energy that you've worked through a challenging practice to a more internal, subtle, and soft space. Interlocking your hands on the floor, move into Halasana position, exhaling as you lower your feet down to the ground. Pointing your toes, keep your legs engaged and keep the back as straight as possible. Keep hollowing out your pelvis and lifting your hips, keeping the integrity of your spine as an elongated, lengthened unit. The hands reach down towards the ground and stay in the same position for Karna Pidasana. Bringing the knees both towards the ground and thrusting into the ears. Keep the heels and the whole feet touching. It's appropriate now to allow your lower back to round so that the knees make contact with the ground, and allow your spine to stretch. If you feel an intense stretch in your lower back or in your upper back, that's probably a good indication that you've had a deep session of back bends. Stay there a little longer, but remember not to push or tense your muscles. Inhaling, coming back up, take lotus position, and Ashtau, move into Urdhva Padmasana. Hands to your knees, straighten your arms, keep the balance in your shoulders, and again, elongate the spine out through your pelvis. Keep the tailbone tucked and the shoulders thrusting into the ground. Gently engaging your legs and reaching your lotus into a deeper position will also help you once we move into Pindasana. Moving yourself into as round a position as possible so that the shins can make contact at the level of the eyebrows, reaching around the thighs, holding your wrist. It's important to keep the stomach drawn in to support this deep curvature of the spine. The weight of the body is distributed on the shoulders as they thrust into the ground. Taking your hands down to the ground, lower yourself down. Ashtau, exhale, move into Matsyasana. Rolling the top of the head towards the ground, hold your feet and straighten your arms, putting your knees as close to the ground as possible. Thrust your sit bones and your tailbone down into the ground while lifting in the opposite direction with your spine, lifting your sternum, lifting your rib cage, and reaching out through the top of the head. Allow there to be a gentle pressure in the top of the head as you gaze towards the eyebrows. Moving into Uttana Padasana, straighten your legs and straighten your arms, trying to keep the legs and arms in parallel position with each other. Keep pushing your sit bones into the ground, tucking your tailbone, using the strength of your lower stomach to support you in the posture. Coming down to the ground, exhale. Nava, inhale, rolling backwards. Chakrasana, step forward, lowering yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. And exhale, move into downward facing. We move into Shirdasana position, headstand. Prepare by taking the forearms to the ground, moving the top of the head down, thrusting the elbows down into the ground. Inhale, send your pelvis forward over your arms to come up. Press the arms firmly into the ground as the blood and circulation of your body begins to drift down towards the ground, moving the energy up the spine. In Shirdasana, the longer you stay, the more deep the benefits are. The more you'll feel the energy centers inside of your brain opening. Staying here for upwards of 5 minutes will produce a sense of deep relaxation and calmness, both in the practice and in your life throughout the day following the practice. Keep the shoulder girdle thrusting into the ground. The calmness and strength of the practice are here and evident in Shirdasana. You begin to feel the benefits of how deeply you've worked in the intermediate series here as we come to rest in a dynamic state of balance. Try to be at ease in headstand, finding balance to be a state of mind and a state of physical expression. Let the strength of your body support you as you keep reaching out through your toes for the ceiling. The tailbone stays tucked under. Your breath is equal and long between the inhalation and the exhalation. Allow your gaze, if possible, to move gently towards your nose. It's a bit harder to keep your balance while gazing at your nose, so only attempt that once your balance feels completely stable. Exhale, lower yourself down halfway. Try not to move into the posture by simply arching the back, but instead round your pelvis and hollow out your pelvis, tucking the tailbone, engaging your legs, reaching out through the soles of the feet and out through your toes. Pressing your forearms into the ground. It's advised to stay here for 10 deep breaths before you inhale, lift back up. And, if possible, lifting the head off of the ground for a final culmination of the advanced Shirdasana or headstand position. Fully completing the posture, move the chin towards the sternum and if possible gaze towards the toes. Placing the head back down on the ground, exhale, lower down slowly, moving directly into child's pose, stretching the arms out, maintaining their position, yet releasing the back. Keep your knees together in child's pose, for this will release the sacrum and give a gentle inward rotation to your thighs. Let your body relax and soften into the ground. Bring your attention back to your breath. Finding a sense of balance at every moment during the practice is important, so that you know a good mix of activation and release. Exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Saupta, inhale, jumping through. Take Padmasana position, right foot, and then the left foot, reaching around the back for your feet to complete Baddha Padmasana position. It's not necessary to cross the elbows. As you exhale, fold forward, moving into Yoga Mudrasana, reaching the chin down towards the ground. You might find it helpful to keep pressing down onto your feet with your hands so that they keep the contact. Also press your sit bones into the ground to help elongate your spine as you reach forward with your chin, keeping your breath steady and calm, gazing at your nose as you reach down towards the ground, letting your mind rest on a single point of attention. Let the length of the inhalation return to equal the length of the exhalation. The seal of this posture will lock the energy of the intermediate series into your body, so you may stay relaxed and calm throughout the day. Inhale, coming all the way back up. Reach your hands down, taking Yoga Mudra and moving into Padmasana position. We begin the start of pranayama practice here by allowing the length of the inhalation to equal the length of the exhalation while sitting in full lotus position. Push your sit bones gently into the ground while drawing inside on your lower stomach. Every inhalation is as deep and long as you can go, and every exhalation is a full and complete release from your body. Rolling the shoulder blades down your back. Remember to tune into your body and listen and notice how you feel now, noticing your energy levels, your sense of muscular activity, your sense of release, openness, strength, grace, and peace of mind. Paying careful attention to your breath as you maintain the focus internally. Gazing at the center of your nose will allow the optic nerve to cross, further accentuating the central column of your body to rise up to the center of the head. After 10 long, deep breaths, take your hands to the floor for Utplutihi. Lean forward into your hands, engaging your legs, drawing inside with your stomach, using the strength of your body to lift. Remember that lifting up is actually leaning forward and allowing a small movement or transfer of weight in your body. So remember to use the dynamics of physics to allow you to lift off of the ground. Leaning forward into your hands, keeping the shoulders down the back. Keep your breath elongated, calm, and steady. Jumping back after your last breath. Inhale, move into upward facing. Exhale, down. Bending your knees. Saupta, inhale, jumping through. Lie down. Savasana, the final posture, what we've all been waiting for. Sometimes after completing the intermediate series, you might find a lot of nervous energy in your body, perhaps a feeling of sleeplessness or unrestfulness. Should you experience this, know that you've worked your nervous system deeply and that cleansing has occurred on a very deep and multidimensional level. You might find it useful to let your breath be natural, but count backwards from 10 until you feel a sense of union with your breath and your body. Take a moment at the end of your practice to give thanks to the tradition of teachers, to Sri K. Pattabhi Jois, to Guruji, for dedicating his life to the practice, for Sharat, who teaches consistently in Mysore and carries the lineage of the tradition, to all the certified and authorized teachers throughout the world, and every student and practitioner of Ashtanga Yoga who carries the mantle of this practice in their hearts. Make sure to give thanks to the lineage of teachers that this sacred practice comes from, thanking yourself for your devotion and dedication to the practice. Congratulate yourself for taking Ashtanga Yoga to a very advanced level of practice, and know that your body and your mind and your soul can find peace here and now.
Swasti prajabhyaha paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahimshaha go brahmanebhyaha shubhamastu nityam lokaha samastaha sukhino bhavantu om shanti shanti shanti.
One of the reasons I wanted to make this DVD is because I know just how hard the intermediate series can be. It took me many years before I felt at all comfortable in many of these postures. In this section called How to Work, I offer you some of the same techniques and principles that I use to convince my body that it was possible to do these very challenging asanas. Allow yourself to be creative when employing these techniques while working under the guidance of a qualified teacher. It's important to listen to your body while you attempt these techniques and while you attempt these postures. Every body is different, so along the way, give yourself space to learn what it is you need to learn from the inside out. There are many different approaches to yoga, and what I present to you here is not the absolute answer, but merely a way that I found extremely helpful to teach myself and to teach others how to move into these postures. Hopefully you too will find these techniques inspirational and insightful.
Pashasana position, the first posture of the intermediate series. Many people find it hard to start with both heels on the ground, so it would probably be useful to squat for a moment and get accustomed. Don't come onto the tops of your toes if your heels come off, but instead let there be weight in the heels of your feet, even if they don't make contact with the ground. Taking a few moments to reach as far over across your thigh as possible. We really want to feel that the shoulder moves as far down your thigh and your calf as possible. You might like to use the other hand to assist the bind around both of your knees. Reaching around the back, gently reach around to hold your fingers. Once the fingers make their contact, then you might find it useful to switch your gaze. If you lose the balance, you can look back down on the ground. If you want to try to get your heels down, you can let your butt reach up towards the ground until the heels touch down and then sink back down, maintaining the balance with the strength of your shins and the strength of the ankles. Now we'll try the other side. So remember, don't come forward onto your toes, but instead let the weight sink into your heels, having a nice deep squat all the way at your hip joints. Reach around on an exhalation so your torso slides around your thighs, hooking your arm fully around your thighs, taking as many breaths as you need to, extending along your shoulders, using the other arm to help ground. You'll notice that the hand that's reaching around the knees stays on the ground until it's time to gently reach up. You can use your thigh as a sort of a marker point for you to feel your way into balance. Remember to change your gaze slowly and never disturb the balance of your mind. As you sit your butt up and then down into a squat, remember to engage your shins and take your weight forward. Once you become proficient at this method, then it's appropriate to try with your heels down. Crown Chasana position. As you might find it difficult to jump forward when full balance, you can simply bring your knee through and bend your left knee to allow your hamstring to stretch as you prepare for the posture. Keep working on an inward rotation of both of your thighs and still resist the urge to round your back and reach forward. Still press down on the sit bones and work an inward rotation, but it might help your hamstring to gently bend your knee as you move out of the posture. Stepping back is also an option should you feel fatigued or want to conserve your energy at the beginning of the practice. As we move into the left side, we can gently move forward without coming to balance, making the vinyasa a little bit easier. Bending your knee will give you a chance to help stabilize your pelvis and work on that gentle inward rotation of both of your legs. You might find it useful to push down or pull down with your arms to give a little bit of weight into your pelvis and ground your upper thigh bone. Stepping back gently will also again conserve your energy and help keep your alignment in the practice. Bekasana position. Most people have a hard time reaching both feet down to the ground at the same time. So as a preparatory for the posture, you might find it useful to stretch one leg at a time. But make sure you set up your upper back by lifting your sternum and pressing your hand into the ground, gently coming as far up as you can, stretching your quadriceps, releasing your butt muscles as you move your toes towards the ground. Taking 5 breaths, first on the right side, as you elongate your spine, will help you feel more of a sense of release when you do move into the posture. Switching the sides, coming down onto the left, keep your right hand pressing firmly into the ground and engage your right leg to help stabilize the posture. Tucking your tailbone. It's advised, if you're going to stretch before, to move directly from the left side into both feet again. You should feel an increased sense of ease in your quadriceps and an increased ability to lift your spine. Dhanurasana position, or bow posture, is one of the first and most basic back bends that we can perform. Yet, reaching back and holding both ankles may be too challenging for some of us. So you can lift up, reaching back, holding your right ankle, and then leaning to the side to hold the left. Then when you lift up, it will be easier. Separating your feet away from each other for a brief moment may help you engage your legs, but it's important to remember to bring the feet back together. Tucking your tailbone and extending out through your upper back will help you deepen your back bends. In Dhanurasana, we set up the foundation alignment principles for all of the back bends in the intermediate series and the later back bending sequence. Parsva Dhanurasana. Coming down into the posture, you might find it useful to again reach back holding one foot and then the other, allowing yourself to move into the posture with a little bit more relaxation. Leaning over to the side, you might find that just a moment to rest your head on the ground will allow you a little bit more spaciousness in the posture before the knees move together and the heels move together. You might find that you have to take your feet apart to come back up into balance and then back onto the left side, resting the head for a moment until you lift and engage into the posture. At any moment, should your body ask for a moment to relax, listen, relaxing your body before initiating movement. Again, lifting up into Dhanurasana, separating the feet for a moment may help you engage your legs as long as you bring the thighs back together to move into the completion of the posture. Having the strength of your body to support the flexibility is an important balance that's learned throughout the intermediate series. Ustrasana. A nice variation for this posture will be to take your time to set up the alignment of tucking the tailbone, sending your sacrum forward, pressing for a few moments with your thumbs onto your sacrum to help give direction to your pelvis. You might find it useful to have your chin gazing down so that you can see your pelvis moving forward before dropping the head back. You might find that relaxing the arms down, moving either one by one or in unison towards the heels will give you a sense of spaciousness in your joints. Sending your pelvis forward, take your hands back to your waist and the thumbs on the sacrum. Keep pushing down and forward on your sacrum while we move through Ustrasana. Taking a moment to move through the vinyasa. If you can't lift up, you can always lift one foot and then jump back from there. Every time you work at strength in the practice, you might move slowly, but over time you will see the results of your effort. Laghu Vajrasana. A posture aimed at building strength in your thighs. Make sure that you have a good sense of connection with your knees and your weight into the ground. If you have a hard time coming up from Laghu Vajrasana, you can hang as far back as you can control the posture and then come right back up. And then you can go down again, reaching a little bit further, and then coming back up, almost like a sit-up for your back and your thighs. Finally, if you can reach down, touching down only briefly, come right back up. There's no reason to hold for 5 breaths if you can't hold for 1. Touching your head to the ground, then come all the way back up, perhaps after 2 breaths, after your final try. Over time, you'll learn to keep the integrity and strength throughout your body. Kapotasana, one of the most challenging postures in the intermediate series, often used as a gateway to determine alignment, flexibility, and strength. Surprisingly, it works on all levels of the body, using the forward thrust of your pelvis that we learned in Ustrasana. Tucking your tailbone, press forward on your sacrum with your thumbs, sending your pelvis forward. Taking the hands in prayer position and hanging will allow gravity to open your spine. If it's hard for you to reach directly to your heels, you can take your hands down to the ground. Try to keep your head off of the ground as you walk your hands in. Walking your hands on the outside of your feet onto your mat will help you. If you need to rest your head for a moment, have a break, but then come back up before you try to walk your hands onto your heels. Once having your heels, thrust your pelvis forward, pull your elbows in, and then thrust them down into the ground. Never stop pulling with your arms so that your head moves closer and closer to your butt. If you take the hands out, and press firmly into the ground, grounding the heel of the hand until it's time to come back up. After a deep back bend, such as Kapotasana, you might need a few moments to capture your breath and regain control of your body. A long and soft child's pose may be necessary at this moment to relax the spine. Yet, the posture, Bakasana, which comes shortly after, mimics child's pose in a supported or engaged version. Remember to jump back, trying to lift as you jump back after you take a rest in Kapotasana. Supta Vajrasana. After you jump through, taking the lotus position and reaching your hands around your back, make sure you do your best to cross the elbows over each other, relaxing your arms and finding your sense of rest in the posture. Remember to enter on a back bend. Don't bend forward to hold your hands because you won't do a back bend from a forward bend. If you try alone, you might just hang your head back while pressing firmly into your feet. Or, should you feel courageous, reach your elbows down to the ground and then place the top of the head onto the ground while pressing firmly with your hands into your feet to help stabilize the posture, taking 5 long, deep breaths. I find it challenging to come up while holding onto the feet, so I release my hands to come up again. This can be quite tedious on your own, so you're always welcome to find some nice blankets, your bed, a chair, a couch, or a stable bookcase to thrust your knees into for a nice sense of stability and weight to allow you to come up and down on your own. Be creative if you're practicing on your own and use whatever is at your disposal, maintaining the rhythm of first down for 5 breaths, inhale and exhale for 3, and then down again for 5. Or you might enlist the help of a good friend to sit on the floor, which is an easier version than standing on your knees, giving you more space around the back of their knees to reach down towards the ground. If you find yourself slipping, you can either dry your toes off or place a towel on top of your toes. As much as possible, do everything to keep your fingers in contact with your toes. Work with your fingers, press firmly with your hands and pull forward with your toes. Use the strength of your arms and the openness of your spine to initiate the movement both from your hands and from the deep bend in your spines. If you need to let the knees float off the ground to keep contact, it's better to maintain the contact with your feet than it is to let go. Use your breath to remain calm while moving into the posture. Inhaling, coming back up. Bakasana B took me many years to learn to master. Challenging by bringing the weight forward into the hands. Set your foundation up and firmly press your arms into the ground, rounding your upper back, jumping or gently hopping from a very close position. It will take the fear out of the posture, leaning forward into your arms for a few times, creating a rocking motion until you're ready to jump. Landing on your thighs, you might find that you have to squeeze up to lift into full Bakasana. Once you get the confidence, take a few steps back and then jump again, catching in your arms, and squeeze all the way back up. Moving to even greater levels of confidence, move towards downward dog, inching your way back until you can fully catch yourself. There is a great tendency to want to let a toe touch towards the ground. Do not let your toes touch the ground. Take your weight forward, and if you need to fall onto your head rather than touching your toes down. You must learn to maintain the integrity of the posture in your upper back and with the strength of your arms, building a solid foundation of strength over time, using patience, persistence, and diligence to work your way into the posture. Ekapada Shirsasana, one leg behind the head posture. You might find the vinyasa difficult, so touch your right toe down to the ground, but keep the weight firmly in your arms. Taking a few breaths with your foot close to your face and the knee out to the side will accentuate the outer rotation of your hip joint. Taking the foot towards your ear while stabilizing and strengthening your back. Slowly using your hands to guide your legs into the posture, reaching around. Take as many breaths as you need to wiggle and move yourself into a deep state of openness, pulling your leg as far down your back as possible. Try to keep your right hip joint released as you move deep inside of your pelvis, only engaging at the last moment when you're ready to take your hands into prayer position. Then using the strength of your body and the strength of your right hip joint to thrust into the ground. If you find it hard to walk forward, use your hands to support your leg as you reach forward, taking your hands fully around your foot, using your elbows to thrust into the ground. Inhaling, lifting up. Bend your knee if you need to bring it close to your body to help the pelvis through, lifting up to straighten your leg. Jumping back slowly, coming into kind of a lean forward to help bring your legs back if you find it difficult. Ekapada Shirsasana combines both strength and flexibility, so allow yourself to find that perfect balance between activation and release, touching your toe down as we move to the left side. Important to keep a long, slow breath and a clear focus as you move from the face to the ear, rotating the trochanter of the left side back and down, protecting your knee by keeping the movement deep inside of your hip joint. Remember, the left hip stays relaxed and released, not engaged, not working until the final moment when you've moved as deep as you can go, dropping the head back, pressing the shoulders into the upper arm to take the hands into prayer position. Walking forward slowly, holding your leg behind your head with your other hand. You might need to wiggle your hand on the ground. Press your elbows firmly into the ground to help give a little extra support. Walking slowly back. Keep the leg behind the head by thrusting back with your neck. Bringing the pelvis forward, reaching up slowly. Bending and leaning forward, one leg and then the other leg moving back is a fine way to build the strength throughout the vinyasa. The work in second series is as much during the vinyasas as it is during the practice. Dvipada Shirsasana, both legs behind the head. Jumping forward, you might find that it's hard to balance, so touch your toes down, come to balance on your arms, sit down. Taking a moment to collect your breath, gently let your left leg roll out to the side, relaxing your hip joint, reaching underneath for your foot. Hold on to your ankle, bring the foot towards the face, and then reach around. Remember that left hip joint is totally soft as you work towards a deep outward rotation of your hip joint and a strong upward thrust with your back. Should your knee begin to feel pain, you can flex your foot. Reaching up with the right foot, use your feet to interlock the feet, and you might need to hook your feet to further allow the hips to open, to give a little bit more traction to allow them to stay behind your head. Keeping the feet interlocked until you feel stable in the posture gives you just that extra chance to work. Use your arms to thrust into the ground, your shoulders to thrust into your calves as you gently look up. Hooking your feet again for the second part of Dvipada Shirsasana, when you lift up, will again give you that extra friction to keep the legs behind the head. Try to open them once you're up. Releasing the feet, gently straighten your legs and take back your legs if you need to, one by one, coming into Bakasana and jumping back. Again, the vinyasa is as important as the posture, so keep the integrity of your strength, being careful to work at every moment possible. Yoga Nidrasana. Another great place to work on the outward rotation of your hip joints with the full support of the floor underneath you. Once you lie down, relax your hips, widening your sacrum onto the ground, starting off by perhaps bringing both legs into your chest, reaching the knees towards the ground to help open your pelvis. Taking a few breaths to allow that nice sense of relaxation, leave your left leg up towards your body, bringing the foot close to your chest and close to your head. Lifting your body up off the ground, press with your left hand and your left elbow into your hip joint until you reach down. And then the right foot comes up. Keep thrusting the left toes into the ground until the legs cross. Hooking the feet again until it's time to open, and then press the toes into the ground. Take a moment and press firmly into your body, and perhaps using the hands to gently open your feet. Hanging the arms up over the top of the head will give you a little bit of extra weight. Push into your hip joints and allow your pelvis to move down towards the ground, gently elongating your spine until you move into the posture. It's a great place to work to allow your joints to open with the serenity and stability of the floor underneath you. Rolling back into Chaturanga Dandasana, a nice gentle movement towards Chatwari. While you might never find it comfortable enough to sleep in the posture, you hopefully will experience a state of rest. Titibhasana position. Jumping forward may be too difficult, so you can always take your feet down, readjust your shoulders to move high onto your arms, sink down into your hands, and then extend your feet up. Remember to keep the energy moving forward out through the soles of the feet. If you need a little bit of extra time to really move the shoulders over your arms, don't be afraid to take as much time as you need to really get the calves hooked around your shoulders before you move into B. If your hands don't reach, you can either leave them hanging or reach around for a towel, or reach and keep reaching and eventually finding your fingers. Once you find your fingers or a nice place to grab, separate your feet and then straighten your legs as much as possible. The strength of the legs is what supports you in the posture, so make sure that at any moment you have a strong sense of foundation. For Titibhasana D, an easier version is to bring the heels closer together and interlock your fingers without taking them to parallel position. This will allow you to reach the arms further and create a more stable sense of balance. It's not the most advanced version, but will help you work in the posture. Coming back up, at the end, take your legs into Bakasana one by one if need be, and then jump back. Your legs should burn the first couple of times you try Titibhasana, so allow the strength of your muscles working to be a guide to go deeper in your body. Pincha Mayurasana, a posture that took me more than 2 years to find balance in. There are many ways to work to build structure and foundation, which comes from the shoulder girdle and the strength of the shoulder blades being supported by your upper back, the latissimus dorsi, serratus anterior, and the deltoids all coming together. Set up the foundation by pushing your elbows firmly into the ground, sending your pelvis over your arms, perhaps bringing one foot for 5 breaths, keeping your pelvis moving forward over your hands, then switching your feet. Having the majority of your weight over your hands will get you stronger and build the foundation you need for balance. Coming down, take a break after you've had your 5 breaths on the right and left side, and then gently try again. Coming back up into the foundation, moving your pelvis over your hands, gently kick or lift up towards Pincha Mayurasana. Don't kick with too much force or it will be hard to balance. Moving into jumping back, you'll find that moving down and up in almost like a pinch up or a small version of a push up will help you find the strength to release your hands from the ground. Should you fall, no problem. That's the beginning of the backwards motion that you will learn to control the posture with. Remember, balance is a state of mind, so keep your mind calm while you try these various options. Reaching up through your toes, reaching the head down and up, down and moving the hands as you reach back towards the ground. There's a bit of fear and a bit of trust that you'll need to learn, as well as strength that moves and stabilizes the posture. Almost an inner scream will help you. Should you be uncomfortable with that, at any moment, just move back up into Pincha Mayurasana, place your head on the ground, and like a headstand, move your hands back. This will at least create some mobility and motion in your arms, and while not the complete version of the vinyasa, is at least a starting place to work. Karandavasana, a challenging posture that can take many years of work. A good place to start is in headstand. This is a more stable posture than Pincha Mayurasana and will give you ample balance to learn to take lotus position in an inverted posture. Moving your legs into lotus position, squeeze your legs together to create a more tightly bound lotus. Then on the way down, tuck your tailbone, roll your pelvis and your spine, keeping the knees into the chest, rolling all the way down until your knees touch your arms. Send your pelvis forward, keep the knees into the chest, pelvis forward, knees into the chest, and only when you're in balance do you bring the knees up, and then slowly, calmly release your Padmasana. Switching your hands and trying again from Pincha Mayurasana position, take lotus position and follow that same rounded rolling position all the way down until you reach your arms. This time you can take your head off of the ground since your arms are in a position to support you. Keeping your shoulder girdle strong, place your head down and move the pelvis forward, squeezing your knees together, coming into balance, releasing the lotus, and then coming down. Use your head as leverage throughout your attempts at Karandavasana. Use everything you have in your whole body to build the strength, keeping both a discipline on the physical level and a discipline on the level of the mind. Trying from full Pincha Mayurasana, some people have a hard time taking the lotus position due to tightness in their hips. If so, you might try a more open position with your legs to allow space to move into Padmasana, moving your feet as close to your hip joints, allowing your knees to point up towards the ceiling, and using your feet again to move into a tight lotus position. Squeezing yourself in, again rolling your pelvis down towards the ground and towards your arms. If you fall, as we often do, simply take a moment to recollect yourself and try again from the floor. As often as you can stay fully supported and down in Karandavasana, you will build the strength in your shoulder girdle, in your pelvis and your legs to move fully into the posture. Taking your forearms down, lift one knee and then the other knee, taking 5 long, deep breaths in the down posture, keeping the strength of your body as you do, and coming down when you can no longer sustain. With strength, give yourself time and space to fully allow your muscles to come into being. Years of dedicated practice will produce small results, so be patient and kind with yourself, and never ask your body for perfection, for the practice is practice and is meant to be enjoyed along the process. Mayurasana, another challenging posture that asks for strength to be articulated through all of your joints. It took me years to be able to move into the full vinyasa throughout the practice in fluid succession. Should you find a hard time lifting your legs, you might find it easier to do it from bent legs and then slowly, with balance, straighten your legs into Mayurasana. Opening the legs will also give you a little bit more connection into your legs and into the posture. Allow yourself many attempts at Mayurasana. Another version is to take the elbows into the belly and create that solid foundation of your arms, lifting one leg for 5 breaths and then the other leg for 5 breaths. Resist the urge to jump, for you must lift into the posture, and any second of lifting is better than jumping or hurling yourself into your arms. Nakrasana position. A dynamic, fluid series of movements that allows and asks you to be strong. If you can't jump from the floor, then straighten your arms, bounce forward, and integrate a push-up that will both build strength and give you the forward direction into your practice. Take time, for moving backwards is sometimes harder than moving forwards, and you may be able to move forward easily and need to straighten your arms to move backwards. These 10 push-ups that you may need to add will both build strength and stability in your body, and while not the traditional method, they are a way to work should you not be able to lift straight from Chaturanga Dandasana. Vatayanasana. One of the most challenging things about this posture is how close the heel must remain to the half lotus position foot. Giving a little space will give you greater sense of balance. At any moment that after you've been trying this for some time, bring your heel closer to your knee and then walk your way up by pressing your hands into the left knee or the knee that's not in half lotus. Slowly bringing your arms out in front of you. Not reaching as high with the arms will also give you a greater sense of balance. When you move through the vinyasa, try to keep the knee that's in half lotus off the ground. But should that be hard, if you find it on the ground, simply lift again by drawing and engaging the knee that's in half lotus. The reason why we keep the leg in half lotus off of the ground is because it's a deeper stretch inside of the psoas and prepares you for deeper back bending. Again, walking up your foot that now has a little bit more space out from the knee will give you a sense of balance. Anytime you need balance in your body, move slowly, step by step, taking each bit along the way. Jumping back, keeping the left leg that's in half lotus off the ground, sometimes needing a little bit of extra time to find that, but again, the vinyasa is as important as the posture, so use the time to work there too. Supta Urdhva Padavajrasana, a posture that requires you to balance both flexibility, direction, and strength. Rolling backwards, taking the right leg into half lotus position. If you can't hold on to your foot, you might take a towel and wrap it around your foot and hold on to the towel, reaching up towards your foot as close as you can. Having even this sense of stability or closeness to your foot will help give you the feeling of binding your foot as you reach around. If you can't hold your toe, you can hold on to your left foot rather than the toe to reach around. This will help keep your toes pointed. One of the pitfalls is jamming your toes into the ground, and holding firmly on your toe as you roll up will help prevent that from happening. When you lie down and bring your feet up over the top of the head, remember to roll fully onto your shoulders to get a deep sense of the shoulder opening, for it's this openness in your shoulders that will allow you to reach fully around. And sometimes your hand just slips and you might just use the towel as traction. Again, holding onto the toe may not work through the whole way, so switching on to hold your whole foot may give you that extra sense of space. As much as possible, keep the contact with your feet as you roll up. It should be uncomfortable in your elbow to start off with until you're able to open your shoulder more and feel the full expression of the posture. Muktahasta Shirsasana. An easier way to get into these challenging headstands is to come onto your knees and place the top of the head onto the ground, kneeling down to take the position. Using the strength of the arms, send your pelvis forward to come up, keeping still the integrity of the inversion. Reaching out through your toes, and then jumping back, staying a little closer to the ground. Moving through the vinyasa, coming again down to your knees to move into the second Muktahasta Shirsasana. B, taking the position while on your knees will again give you a little bit more of a chance to align your shoulders should you be working on strength. Make sure that you enter into a firm sense of the alignment, keeping your arms strong, the shoulder blades rolled down the back, and the chest open while you jump back. Muktahasta Shirsasana C is perhaps the hardest of the headstands, so there are two options. You can bend your arms instead of letting them be fully straight while kneeling down, sending your pelvis forward. Be careful not to send it too far forward or you'll go over. Then straightening the arms to a more aligned position once you find the balance. This does require you to have more control over the posture, but is a useful way to maintain the balance while learning. Backbending. It's important to still work yourself towards the edge of your flexibility, even if you're practicing on your own. After you've completed the backbending sequence, you might find that hanging for a long time in the preparation for dropping back will allow you to open your spine, tucking your tailbone, lifting your spine up out of the pelvis. If you're working on dropping back, this is a great position to hold for a long time until you see the floor. When you see the floor, you can place your hands down. If you are flexible and want to try to grab your own ankles, walk your hands in as close as you can, keeping your shoulders in alignment from the floor will allow you to move into the posture with a greater sense of stability. Use the strength of your legs to thrust your legs straight into the ground, coming up after you've walked your hands in as far as you can.